Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of ClueCon Weekly. This week with us, we have Bao Nguyen from Bell Canada, and is a big expert of voice over AP. He's been doing this for a long time. Plus, Bao, everybody knows the name. So thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thanks. Thank you for inviting me to the ClueCon meeting. Yeah, it's been waiting for this opportunity to talk to you guys.
Oh, that's great to hear. So, would you like to give us a quick introduction about yourself, how you got started, and where you are now?
Well, that's a long story, but I think I can go over in a little bit the 5, 10, 2 minutes, something like that. So I started with FreeSWITCH 10 years ago, something. Like I started first with Asterisk and the PBX system for a company in Vietnam. And then when I came Canada, student, then, to study and then got a job in Bell, and it was Bell Canada has a central lab across Canada to test all the devices, make sure that everything related to call voice call is going to be okay, and you have no further place to escalate except for the vendors, right? And part of my responsibility is to test call, right? So used to be sitting at a desk with two phones, and one pick on the left side, on the other side, pick one and the other side, and then calling each other and say something crazy in between, and then hang up. Hello, hello, can you hear me? And then that, and they need to make hundreds of calls yeah, every time we want to certify a new load, maybe of the SBC or of the core routing like ProSoft. And thanks to the COVID, I need something to allow me to work from home, right? Because it's
Yeah,
locked
we have
down,
all
right?
changed a lot. We had to find a lot
Right,
of different things.
right. So that's why I decided to came up with some automation help, and then to generate a call flow, validate everything in the call flow, like DT map, voice, and fax, and so far it's been a good journey, like 1.5 year, and then right now I can say that I have like 80% of the call flow being automated, except for the call going to PSTN. I need to have a PSTN gateway for that, but that's the next step. So today I want to just show you how FreeSWITCH is used in like almost entirely in my lab in Bell to test all the call
Oh,
flows that
amazing.
Bell Canada is offering to the customer across Canada. So
The FreeSWITCH team will love this. So let's
yeah, I
go.
hope I hope.
Oh yeah, that's super. That's very interesting that such a large company, an important company, is using FreeSWITCH internally. And maybe I can ask you about the other open source projects you use internally later. But for now, if you have, I don't know, demos, slides, whatever you prefer, we're all yours.
Okay, sure. So we use like say something, and I walked you through over the demo. So that's
Awesome.
basically the call generator, right? So I want to like before that we have a CP. I use CP to generate a call, but just check the signaling, right? Send a call, answer, everything's good, but it's hard to check whether we have actual voice in there because some of them the kits that they got from the customer, like is that escalated from the customer, is that they don't have voice, they have one way or the other. Maybe the DTMF doesn't work, you have voice, but the DTMF doesn't work, and then later on when we introduced faxing or T3A into the services that we offer to client, then somehow oh, fax can, we don't cannot send a fax, something like that. So I'm looking at for something that can help me do the human side of the call. Like you hear that, that's the voice there, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the trace white shark, you see the packet, but you may not know that they're all empty packet or just comfort noise. So something
True.
like that, or you send a fax, you need to see the fax being sent or received on the other side in a PDF, whatever, or the A4 or whatever. So that is confirmed that, okay, I received the fax. You cannot just based on the signaling and, call is good and, so things like that. And in the old day, as I told you, we have FreeSWITCH as a PBX, right? And my department is that my task that I am required to certify a load for the SBC section border controller. So that bell we are using a lot of is to protect the customer and the bell networks, right?
Yeah.
Just like a firewall ceiling between those networks. And have FreeSWITCH running as a main PBX, and then we send a call. We have the phone, IP phone or soft phone, send a call to FreeSWITCH, and FreeSWITCH sends a call to SBC and go into the call side, back to the other side. Happens to be another phone on my table, and then that's why I can test signaling and media and DTMF like that. And
Well, it's great.
it's great, for a new class like me when it's first jump out. Oh man, I have fancy IP phones on the table, some wireless, some wire, Cisco, Avaya, name, Nortel, even some Nortel very old phones, analog phones. And it's fun to make some calls and get used to the system, but it it it, it it's getting to the point when when we have hundreds of calls to make. I have hundreds of calls to make to test just a particular load of SVC, and that's not as fun as it used to be in the first place. So because you make a call, you press something and then okay, everything's good, then you hang up, and then you check the signaling. Oh, we have always everything's look good. Then I move on to the next one, and maybe I need to change the setup a little bit so that will route to the right destination. That takes a lot of time, and slowing down the response time. We every time we have the needs to maybe certify an urgent load because of the production issue, something like that. So what I use is that I bring on Python, and
Oh, okay.
Python now is a framework to generate the test cases, right?
Hmm.
So we have two parts of this. My automation suite has two parts. The first one is called test case generator. When you generate a lot of calls, depending on what you need to test, right, and per service. So maybe for SIP trunking, you have DTMF, you have voice call and regular call, and then you have hold and resume, and you have transfer, attended transfer or blind transfer,
Hmm.
and you have DTMF, and of course later on we have fax, T3 and T3 transcoding on top of that. And maybe for NG911, which is the next generation 911, is powered by FreeSWITCH in the lab here. So we generate every call from service provider, and then going to a PSAP, which is the agent, and then you would simulate the call of like police, ambulance, everything in the lab using FreeSWITCH. So I have the first the Python script to generate the call test cases for all of those services that we test, and the second thing is call the the call generator itself, which is generate one call, and depending on what you want to validate, like DTMF voice or fax, or do transfer or whole resume everything, and you tell that script to generate one particular call with all the features that we want to add, and you can generate a very complex call. Like if you call, answer, check for audio, and then put a call on a hold, and then resume the call, and then do a transfer, and then bridge the call, check the audio, send it to MF. We even send fax at the end. So it's a crazy one you can think
Yeah.
of. So and that
So, question for you: for are you using Python to place calls through SIP, or is Python generating some code that then does the actual calling?
for FreeSWITCH, so FreeSWITCH is still the culture, like the main PBX doing signaling and media, fax, the math and voice. But
Oh,
I
so you're
use
just
Python
calling. You
ESL,
just okay,
Python
cool,
ESL, like there's a module ESL, they call it Korean Witch or something. I can show you later on that you can talk to the FreeSWITCH and manage the FreeSWITCH, like through the ESL channel, right? So you send a command to FreeSWITCH, hey, answer the call with the UID, and then if it's answered, okay, and then do whatever, send the whole resume, and then maybe change the codec from PCMA to PCMU on the fly, and then FreeSWITCH will react to that and do whatever is being told.
perfect. Okay,
So that's the beauty
so
of
where do we
DSL.
start?
Yeah. Okay, if you want to have a look, then I can show you something here.
Yeah, definitely.
First, let me
Very
share the
good idea.
screen, then we go from there. Did you see my screen now?
There we go. Perfect.
Okay, so you can see my screen, right?
Yes. Yes.
So this is the Linux box, and I can show you a quick tour around this one. So before that, when I first um, not first, but when I first started the job in Bell, and I have VM for I have a separate VM for each SIP profile, right? So it make it easy because we have a virtual environment here, so it's easy to add for another VM. So I put one FreeSWITCH here in one VM as a caller, another one is a caller two, and maybe another one is destination one, and the fourth one is a destination two. So it's one single profile per FreeSWITCH, but that was a headache in terms of upgrading the system and troubleshoot, right? So you instead of upgrading one, you upgrade four, and then now I was able to consolidate everything in one single box. And if you can see here, let me show you. You see all the profiles that I have under one single VM. So this is the box that generate the calls and receive the call on the other side, right?
Okay.
So so with there's a lot of stuff in here, and then I can walk you through over that.
Yeah.
So this is the master one, the masterpiece, like the
That
call
is one big
signaling.
list
Yeah,
of registrations.
and registration. You can see some of them is BTC, which is the Bell Total Connect, which is a register-based service, is like, and then we have SIP trunking here, like SIP-T here, right? And we have some IPSM, which is the IP switch minute, which is the platform to send transit the call from Canada to the US and the long distance the over the world. So, and you should see the here the ambulance tell tell us emulating IP, like everything is just regarding the NG911, the next generation 911 that Bell is launching already, and so some TDM gateway that I'm working on. So. So
Awesome.
this is the SIP profile that will talk to the correct SBC or the platform that per service, right? So if the for example, if it's the BTC, right, then it's talk to one IP on on one SBC on in the lab regarding the BTC service, right? But if SIP trunking, then it's gonna talk to another SBC in the lab, and then it will go to the core side to the correct process of that offers the service. So that is my setup, right? It's just one box.
Mhm.
There's nothing else, just one box generating a call, fax, DTMF, everything in this Swiss box, and really love it.
Oh yeah,
So that's
super simple.
yeah, super simple. I want to keep it simple and easy to manage, and I'm running I think the latest version. I think oh sorry version, yeah. So 10 110
Oh yeah,
1
yeah. That's
10 7
the current. Yeah, that's yeah. I
one
think
release
that's the
one, yeah. So easy to manage. So as you know, this one emulate everything from the caller or the last mile call the
Mhm.
destination, right? So you don't see anything on the call side, but you only make calls and receive on the other side. And the routing has been in place so that if you call a particular number, it's gonna go to the same box here, right? So we don't worry about the routing here anymore. It's been provisioned already. So as I said, um, now it comes to the Python script, which is fun. The call generator and the test case generator and the call generator. Okay, so I can show you something about the what's in the call generator. So let me test case generator first, all right?
Oh yeah.
Because that one, uh, give me a second. So for example, I have SIP trunking. Okay,
Mhm.
so this is SIP trunking, and then this is the when I run it, this will show me all the test case here, right? Let me open the file here so you can see that easily. Here you go. right?
Yeah.
So this is part of my Python learning, right? Because there was an initiative in Belcada that encourage people to learn Python. And I know some of the other language, but not Python. But I say, okay, it's good to pick up a
Wow,
new one,
check
and
that
I
out.
don't yeah, I didn't regret that decision. So it's the title and the test case, and we have for SIP trunking we have 370 test cases. So if you can look at it,
So you have all the possible permutations.
yeah, like this is if I want to do manual call, this is the complete list that I must do if I don't have automation. And it's growing, right? Because when we have a new service or new thing or new discovery, new bug, then I just put that in there too. So you can see that for quick review. You see this is the from to description of the test case and the result, and it's in the pass or fail. That's basically, and the MOS, which is percentage of 100% is a perfect one, and 50 is not good. So this IVR is we can put it aside for now. That's the one for store shaken identity restart and attestation header that we receive on the receiving side, right? And this is the time, that the duration, and the ringing period. So we go a little bit of that. Since this is just a test, like the test case list, we don't have anything to populate in those columns, right? Because that being populated when we execute a test. And you can see that I put that in some section here, like no transcoding PCMU, A call B, H call resume. So A call answer, A whole resume, and then B whole resume, and we hang up, right?
What
And
are
the
the What are the O and OB and IB, inbound and outbound?
no, that's a good question. Oh, mean like due to the limitation of the space that I have,
It's
always a
zero.
codec payload. So PCMU is payload. It's in if you choose 79, this is 18, right? So it's the codec payload that tells you which codec is used. And IB is not the inbound outbound because you have outbound here, so it suggests the TMF, right? So we do TMF in band, we do DTMF out of band, which is RFC 2033.
Mhm.
Yeah, so this is this tells you which codec, voice codec, and which DTMF types we're gonna do that.
Yeah,
So
if you can do that
and then
easily with
ACE,
FreeSWITCH, because FreeSWITCH supports a lot of codecs and
yeah, that's something I
RFC.
like about FreeSWITCH. And then the reason that you can specify the codec, the TMAP, and thing like that when you originate a call. So, and on the other side, the receiving side, you just set the codec you want to answer, and then it use that, right? So yeah, it's so test in band first, the same one, but the second case is for out of band. Like we do different DTMF, make sure that is there's no transcoding on SBC, but you just test end to end, see whether it's still good, right? And then this is the refer one, so be blind transfer using refer. This is blind transfer using invite and and attended transfer and everything that. And then at the end you have a call forward. So this guy is send 302 and then go to C, and then we do the same thing. And then now we test this TMF here, right? So on both sides, going to send out band TMF, and I test with all the possible digits that FreeSWITCH support, like from 0 to 16 or something. Yeah, it's 15, right? 0 to 9 and A, B, C, D, and star and then hash, which is 16
Yeah, what
colors.
first thing I think when I'm saying this is how long would it take to do this without automation? Like, it will almost be impossible. I
Oh
mean, you
yes,
could do
you will
it,
use
but
you. That's the right thing I want to talk to, because imagine you have this guy, you send DTMF, right? You need to press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then on, and you wait until the other side receive, and then you go on the other side, you do the same thing, right? And then the thing is, you need to validate that on maybe FreeSWITCH log or through the Wireshark trace that you actually see those on the wire, right? So is it really like a minute easily for just one test case? And I'm not talking about facts, because for fact it's tricky. You need in the old day I used to run around the office with the fax machine, right? Because when a test call from SIPs to PSTN, I have to go to the upper floor because they have all the TDM stuff in there. So hook up my fax machine and do run downstairs or whatever, or remote the desktop to my computer, and then execute one test make call, and then waiting for the fax to come out on the fax machine. Oh man, it's a couple of minutes per fax testing. So I miss those days, by the way. That's why I think I was slimmer than I am now, thanks to those running up and down with the fax machine. So you can see that quickly. So this is a test call generator, a test case generator, right? So I have PCMU G79, and now I have single transcoding, from audio codec from PCMU to maybe G729, right? And this one the other way around. You see this one, the caller is using
Oh yeah.
PCMU, and now they're using PCM G729, and the caller party answer with PCMU. So SBC is doing transcoding. And that different fax ability, they refer everything, right? And so now we have double transcoding, meaning the SBC doing two kind of transcoding at once, like codec and the TMF, right? Just like this, like you have the A calling B using G729, and the answer with the PCMU, and they doing out of band DTMF, and this guy doing band. So and if you scroll down, you have triple transcoding, which is doing fax. It, you send fax, but the voice and the DTMF is negotiated differently on both sides. And in call codec switching. So if you call start with codec 0, and then you somehow would change to G729, right?
Yeah.
So that tests all possible scenarios that the customer may encounter, so that we catch the problem in advance, right? Rather than waiting for them to report and fix. And this is tricky because I don't know what I can do using manual phones to trigger the codec switching during the call.
Nice.
And this is the intra service, so when we call from BTC, and Citron call BTC, and this is we call international, same thing, but going to a different platform, right? And then we call 91900, just route back to here, just redirect, and everything is good. So and then for SIP trunking, we have the different type of caller number representation. So this will be above one is just for you can use any number to put it as a calling number, right? But it's not verified. So, and here, since we introduced some store check-in recently, everybody talking about that, then this is well, you notice the hash in there, meaning that this is the actual number, right? Because here you see the number is being randomly generated. It's the number that even the enterprise or customer doesn't own, right? But we still allow it.
Nice.
But the attestation, when we certify the call, it's not going to be we don't verify the caller ID, something like that. So here is this is the actual number that is provisioned on the switch. So I'm using this one, and we're testing the attestation, and you see that the number is being good, certified. Okay, good. The customer owns this number, something like that. And just a
Nice.
repeat of the test case above, and you got double of the test case, the 370 test case. So it's cover everything. You flip the number, you forward, you transfer, and the number is gonna check whether it's good or not. So that's the first part of the call flow automation that I have. We have in Bell here. So this generate test case, right? And then this will execute the test case.
That
And
is super interesting.
yeah, and if you have a look at the as I said, it's it's per service. So if you do NG911, okay, well, you don't believe it. It's 2031 test case. But it's not only voice, but we have something like called DNS and routing. So this is the one
Wow.
for engineering one. And I tell you, it's a long list here, right? Because
How long does the whole suit take to run? Just curious.
uh for it's like 2 or 3 hours max.
Well,
No,
yeah.
or
Think
running
think about
overtime.
for
Yeah.
the audience. Think about how much it will take to do this manually.
Or it will take months for sure. Like, or even if even it take months, I cannot cover all of them. Right? Just maybe on the first time I cover maybe a good portion to that I have confidence, and then the next time I just pick the one and I maybe the first do the first one per section to confirm that is good, right? And hoping that
Yeah.
the other will won't have any problem. So as you can look the engineering one, there's a lot of things in here, and there's a lot of stuff that that the latest FreeSWITCH 10.1.10.7 delivered. So that's why I upgrade to the latest one, and I have less patches, a custom patch to keep on my own. So it's really the time saver for me. I could not do that without automation and FreeSWITCH. Simply put. Okay, so so we good at the first one of the call generator, right? Called cascade generator. We now move to the second one, which is the call generator, which is it's the tool to generate one particular call and check everything that's been told to check. Like if you have voice, you have DTMF, you have fax, and transfer is good or something like that. And the codec is if you send the right codec, if you receive the right codec, and DTMF being sent and received correctly on both sides, right? And enough, like if you send 16 DTMF, you must receive the same number at the receiving side, otherwise I fail the calls, something like that.
Oh, that's a lot. I mean, here look at
Yeah,
that.
so I know it's a lot to cover in here, but just want to go quickly on one test case you can see here.
Yes, please.
Let's go on the first one. So let's say shift trunking, and we look at the range number one, and this is the manual call. So the test generator will call the call generator with the command. Like if you notice that in the test case, they have the debug section where I keep all the commands that it's gonna call. The call generator calling this one, and you can see we do action is voice, and then we do a whole direction reverse, meaning that the call party will do a whole resume, right? And then we do another whole the mode inactive, which is I'm doing instead of send only, I do inactive. Oh, I'm I'm surprised that FreeSWITCH supports all kind of shift signaling that we can play around with, right?
Mhm.
And then let me run it, and then you see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm running a call, simple call. A is party A, PA is party A from this number using PCMU and in-band DTMF, right? T3A setting, we don't worry about that because it's just a voice call. And calling party B, do PCMU and doing in-band, so let's do it. So, oh, it's better to do it again than you see in the wire here. So give me a second, city, here you go. And we have automation here. So let me do oh, it's by here. So let me do it again and redo the call, and you can see you. Okay. And I run the call again, and you see what happens in the background, right? This is invite, and you can see here it's doing PCMU. There's no telephone event in there, right? So we're doing in band and going out to the other side, and then when the other side answers here, you see there's no telephone event in there, and then they answer with PCMU, right? And then after that, we check the audios, everything is good. I receive audios from both sides. Then we go ahead with the whole resume, and you can see this is send only going from the destination as we tell the script to do, right? And there do here the receive only. Okay, the call's been on hold. Or we wait a little bit. Then we resume the call. So the call didn't resume now, and then now it's turn for the caller to do the whole request with inactive in here instead of send only. And then you can see here the other side should be sending back inactive. Yeah. And then after a while, 4 seconds something, we resume the call, and then we buy the call eventually. So on one shot,
That's incredible.
and you can see here is the debug log that you can. It tells you everything that if you need to like for example, if you run the call, you run the test case, you execute the test case, and you have some problem, then you can use this debug section here to just run that and collect on the logs here because everything show you. And we need okay, I need on both sides, make a call with everything. This is variable they set, and I received the call here. Oh, I on the other side, I received the call. Okay, now I do the ringing, and then I do answer. Okay, and then this is the beauty. I detect the voice. So okay, I check the audio, actual voice. So it has the FreeSWITCH has a hidden or not hidden, but a capability to check the voice energy.
Yes,
So
the
that it must be,
energy and
yeah. That's the only thing that can like or can only
it's
find in the
mod
FreeSWITCH.
AVMD, I think.
Yeah, you cannot find it with other software or open source software. So that's why I pick one of the reasons I pick FreeSWITCH because it detect the energy level has to be like you can tell it whether it has to be at least a second energy level will be above 50 whatever, and then you can actually mark it as you have voice. Otherwise, if you comfort noise, right, and then you say very low or the empty packet or then the test would the physics will detect that, and we felt like, oh, hey, we don't have audio.
True.
So
Oh,
the same.
that's yeah. Yeah, FreeSWITCH. I think FreeSWITch really helps in this scenario because it's not only a SIP application. It has all the media capabilities, so you can do you can probably I mean, you're probably playing audio in some of these, like having someone simulate speaking, etc. And FreeSWITch can do all of that.
Exactly. So this is actually the main reason why I was reluctant to automate the calls because I was asking myself a question. Okay, I can automate that, but how I can actually check whether there's a voice in there? I don't want to end up in the situation when all my tasks get passed, and then when we actually make a one call, oh, we have no audio, or we have a very low audio. That's the scary thing, and I cannot sign like the report. Like say, okay, I certify this load, and we're ready to deploy in production. You know what I mean? Because I need to validate there's actual voice in there before I certify the call, and that's the hold off until I discover this feature, and then oh man, it's time to automate stuff.
This is super So let me ask you something. How long did it take to develop this? Not all the scenarios, but the let's say the main tool.
Actually, the started with it's a I would say a year or something.
Oh well,
A
that's
year because of initially I use we have the call the test case generator here, but we're not testing the actual components of the voice. We're just testing the routing, like call blocking using when we want to block some of the calls because we identify as spam. That's Bell has been doing that. So and then there's 100 number, 1,000 numbers, hundreds of thousand numbers, and I want to have a quick tool to to generate a call with the from number here and send to a policy server on the call side, right? And see whether the call is being rejected or not. But that's nothing related to signaling. Let's just test case send got 403 rejection. Okay, it's good. If it's 403 and we're supposed to let the call go, then I fail the call, something like that. But that took 6 months something to develop that. So we were able to certify maybe like more than close to a millions of calling number on the NPA of the North America. And I came after that. I say, okay, we have the framework now. We want to automate the call flow. We only want to do that. Spend a lot of time and it's tedious to just make call manually. So I expand that framework into what you see right now. So the call generator, before that, it just send the call, got the response 4, 3 or something, and then send back to the test case generator.
Mhm.
But now it can collect everything along the call and check audio, do facts, everything, and everything's good. It send okay to the call, the test case list here. So otherwise, um, um, it will fail a call, something like that. So it's 6 months initially, and so far it's been 2 years on this tool altogether, and I
Awesome.
have expanded to test the next generation
Well,
911.
I mean, that sounds like it's a lot of work, but people should remember that how much work it saves. Like as you said, it would take a month to run all those scenarios manually. So really, every time you're running that takes 3 hours, and it's saving you a week of work. I will say it's
Almost, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it saved
it's
me a
a
lot of time, and also it's like I said, it allows me to test all the test cases that I want to test. Right. For example, if you test, you want to test call blocking number, you just test one number per MPA per, right? So I don't want that. I want to test the random range in that one for a given MPA number, which is error code, right? Like
Mhm.
416 something. I want the script to generate a random number, couple of random number, like the first one, the middle one, the last one, and something in between, so that it will fit into the machine and throw it against the call policy server and see whether it choked or not. So
Awesome. So yeah, well, thank you so much. I mean, we're getting towards the end of our time slot, but it's just super great, like how people can build such a complicated application around FreeSWITCH, and it's being used by a large carrier. And this goes to show how much open source tools can be important in workflows. I mean, I had seen someone else, like I've used FreeSWITCH to generate some load too, but it was really just using FSCLI with some options to originate 10 calls, 20 calls, whatever. But this is just insane. Like it's of
yeah, thanks for that. I know we are timing out, but can I show you one last one
course,
how I
yeah, of course.
execute the script? Like, because we talk about the call generator, the test case generator, but how we run the whole test plan,
Mhm.
right? So as you remember, this is the test case generator. I just put the range here, number one, number two here, right? But if I want to execute that, I just put the execute here, and then you can see on the screen, it's gonna call, and it's gonna show, this is, if you look at the what's going on the in the back, you see something going on here. So
Uh-huh.
this is when the call generator is being called and generate one particular call, and then when everything is good, it's gonna send the feedback result to the test case generator, and then you see that okay, now is you got one test with result, number of test case one is finished, result okay, the MOS is 100, 100, and we have the verse start here, and this is the duration, and the duration is 18 seconds for the one particular test case, and we ring 1 second. So this is the okay. So we complete that, right? So this is the very tiny case when you want to test number one and number two, and this is the result I got. So we have the success rate 0, everything here. So what happens that I run it overnight with the full set and come up the other day, the next morning with all the result that I am looking for. So see, you run the test case, you specify the number, right? And you execute that. And if you want to have a fancy graph, just like this. And if you want to only set the signaling, you skip everything, then just test this, and it will only check the signaling and skip the voice and DTMF and the facts. So
Wow, that's I mean,
so
there's
so
so
what? Yeah,
much here. You could do a university course just on this. It's just incredible. I mean, thank you so much for sharing this with us. It's and well, I obligatory question: is any of this open source, or will it be? Could you make some of it open source? Will maybe some scenarios or whatnot will be interesting, but I know maybe you can't.
yeah, that's something I'm looking at, because I have this initial chat with my boss, and he is supportive of this one. But the thing is, I need to clean up the script a little bit because it's a mess in there. It's a
Oh well,
learning progress for me. So I have a lot of comments in there. So, but my goal is that if you find it, people find it useful or something like that, then I can think about like porting that on the open source so that everybody can utilize that. So
that's awesome. Okay, cool. So, well, again, this is so much to unpack. So I think we've seen something different. I mean, this is the first time we got an application of this size on ClueCon Weekly that I can remember. So, really, thank you so much for sharing this with us. It's a super interesting scenario with a lot of implications, and that's how people should build around FreeSWITCH and open source in general. So, thank you very much.
yeah, my pleasure, and then also a big thanks to the team because without this switch, I could not no like do this ever in my life. So yeah.
Nice. So, well, if you want to see, well, if you're interested in joining us at ClueCon, we'd probably love to have you. But for everybody else, if you enjoy this kind of talk and the technical aspects of it, you can join us in Chicago from October 17th to 20th, where it will be our usual conference, ClueCon, which goes back to being fully in person. And I will be leading some training on both FreeSWITCH and SignalWire. So come take a look, and maybe we'll find out some other interesting applications like this one. And
Absolutely.
well, thank you so much. It was, I mean, again, it's been a while since I've done something that it was this interesting. So I will probably ask you. Let's chat another time. I'd like to do a lot of deep dive more in the code, etc. So we'll schedule something in the future. But for now, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, and thanks for having me here.
So I'll stop the sharing if you don't mind, so we can
Yeah,
go
sure.
back
Let me
to
do that.
the. Okay, cool, perfect. So well, again, thanks for joining us today. Bao Nguyen from Bell Canada showed us a super interesting FreeSWITCH based application, and we'll chat again because I need to ask you more questions.
Absolutely, yeah. It's my pleasure to talk to you too. So feel free to talk to me or ping me anytime you like. Yeah.
Thank you very much, and well, for everybody else, let's see you next week. Thank you.